You were listening to a Nerd Room podcast, a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. Be sure to check out more from the Star Wars Commonwealth on the web at starwarscommonwealth.com and take your first steps into a larger world. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Room, where we talk all things comics and movies. This is episode number 68. We're discussing the early Star Wars Celebration Orlando reveals and the brand new Thor Ragnarok trailer. I'm your host, Tim.
I'm Troy.
We're recording on the eve of Star Wars Celebration. When this podcast drops, people will either be running for Funko Pops, waiting in line to get into the 40th anniversary panel, and this podcast almost becomes obsolete as soon as it drops because we're going to be getting all kinds of news tomorrow. It is so exciting. Star Wars Celebration, Last Jedi trailer hopefully coming here, Rebels trailer in a couple days. Huge couple days for Star Wars fandom. Are you excited?
Oh man, I'm stoked. I can't wait. This is Oscar season is like my Super Bowl, and then the Star Wars Celebration is also like my NBA playoffs. I can't wait. Can't wait to see the cool, interesting kind of events we're going to see. You know, and my boy Hayden Christensen, he's showing up, so I'm stoked. Can't wait.
Yeah, is that what you're most looking forward to? Is that reveal either a new movie or the presence of Hayden Christensen? What are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, definitely Hayden Christensen showing up. I think this first time since 2005. And as well, I'm a big fan of the book announcements. I love to hear what they're going to announce. I mean, obviously, last year we heard that Timothy Zahn is coming back to join the team with the Thrawn book. Yeah. So, yeah, how about you? What are you most excited for?
I don't know. I'm kind of in the air here. Like, I'm really looking at Saturday's panels because we got the collecting panels, the Hasbro panel there, the Rey Books, the Marvel Comics is there. So, getting a lot of content there. But I have to say, it's the Last Jedi trailer. From what everyone is saying, what we're hearing is that's coming with the 40th anniversary panel. I did say last week that we were expecting it to come on Friday with the Last Jedi panel, which made a little bit more sense, but apparently they're going to kick off Celebration with a brand new trailer for The Last Jedi, and that could be coming tomorrow. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, is seeing Luke Skywalker talk and just seeing what they produce, what they put on screen for the first time for episode 8. We're going to see probably Carrie Fisher in there.
Yes.
So it's going to be a bit of an emotional moment for everyone. And we know a couple guys that are down there are going to be in the panel. They're going to be overnight. Hey guys, for those that are sitting in line right now, listen to this. Thanks for listening. And I hope you're doing well and get a little bit of sleep so that we can see you guys freaking out tomorrow at the 40th anniversary panel.
Man, what a good time to live in. I can't wait.
Yes, but we're going to jump straight into the news because we're going to try to keep this relatively short this week because we are recording a little bit late. And we're going to kick this off with Star Wars news. This is going to be a pretty Star Wars heavy episode with the exception of the Thor 3 trailer. And I think that's appropriate for the time of year.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Yeah.
Did you have a chance to watch the bad lip reading? The Star Wars version, the Force Awakens version.
I did. Yeah, I got touched up on it, and man, that was just pure jokes. The voice acting behind that is hilarious. The timing is great, and these voices they create for these characters, and it seems consistent throughout the whole little film. There, I was dying. Yeah. Finn was killing me.
Yeah, he's good.
And of course Han Solo.
Yeah, Chewbacca.
And Chewbacca with a voice.
Yeah,
love it.
Do you know who did Han Solo's voice?
Was it actually Han?
No, it was Mark Hamill.
It was Mark Hamill because this sounds kind of like. Kind of like Han Solo. Sounds like
a grumpy old Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly. So Mark Hamill did that.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I thoroughly enjoy that. Yeah. My wife and I watched it like 3 or 4 times when it first dropped. My favorite scene is when they're on the Resistance base with Akbar. And he's talking about his birthday. Happy birthday, Bob. So good. They captured grumpy old Han Solo there so well.
Yes, I love the dialogue too between him and Carrie Fisher as well. Just jokes.
Have a clown. So good. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to go watch that. It's a ton of fun. It takes a kind of a lighthearted take on Star Wars, and kind of the interactions between Han Solo and Kylo Ren are quite good. Yeah. So it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And continuing on, blasting through the news here. Good Morning America. They teased earlier in the week something big, something 40 years in the making was going to be announced on their show. I believe it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. And the internet blew up because everyone thought, including myself, kind of maybe foolishly, that this was going to be the debut of The Last Jedi trailer. They're going to drop it right before Celebration and get everyone amped to another level going into this. And you know what? In retrospect, thinking back, it's probably a good thing they didn't. It's nice that they're going to kick off Celebration, hopefully with that trailer, and that's probably a bit more appropriate.
Yeah.
What did you think they were going to announce there?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a trailer just because it seems, Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's always the one, or Jimmy Kimmel, sorry. Jimmy Kimmel's always the one that holds it down with the trailer, so I wasn't anticipating a trailer. I really didn't know what to expect coming out of this, but I think it was great, the news that they laid down, and wow, this world, what it does, the Star Wars community is just fantastic, and I really like what they're doing here on this show.
Yeah, because that picked up the announcement, it picked up where J.J. Abrams left off with the Force for Change.
Yes.
And so it's a really great cause, and they're getting the interaction of Star Wars fandom to produce and give money to a good cause. And I think that is awesome that they're doing this. And there's some really cool prizes in there. One being you can be on the red carpet with Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill for the debut of Star Wars Episode 8 later on in December. That's pretty cool. So you see a lot of, especially the big studios, Marvel and Disney or Star Wars do this quite well, is that they give these opportunities to fandom to participate with the cast, the characters and all this, and they spin that into something good, something positive. We see this a lot with Omaze, with the Guardians, with Chris Pratt did one, and Robert Downey Jr.'s done them in the past. So there's
Chris
a lot
Evans
of,
even, I think,
they've
well.
all done something in the past that relates their character or what they're doing in the movies to the larger fandom, and then spinning that into something even more positive for a good cause, for a charity. So
absolutely,
it's great to see them getting fandom interacted and doing something good with that. So I think that's great. That's positive on them. And, kudos to Lucasfilm, Mark Hamill, Daisy Ridley for taking part in this and kind of continuing to push this Force for Change thing, because it's a great cause.
It's great. And it reminds me, I applaud them, because I think it was going into Force Awakens, we had that unfortunate news happen with the young man. Like, there's a cancer patient. Yeah. And I think it was either Bob Iger or
J.J. Abrams
that reached out and let him see, a very early glimpse or screening of Force Awakens. So.
Yeah, those stories are so touching.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely.
It's great to see that they care that much about fandom, and they care that much about the people, and they understand and recognize how important Star Wars is to a lot of people.
Yes.
And then using that to do something better is even more admirable.
Yeah.
And hitting off a little bit of the news that we discussed last week. Again, this is going to be rapid fire here. We talked a lot, and we have in the past, about Carrie Fisher's presence in Episode 8 through to Episode 9. And last week we even talked about and speculated how we thought maybe they're going to use the character and what we thought was an appropriate end for Princess Leia. So you can go check out our thoughts back on that. But Carrie Fisher's brother this week, Todd Fisher, was speaking with the New York Daily News, and he did say that Disney are planning to use recent footage to include Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia in Episode 9. So this is a confirmation from him that Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, is going to be in Episode 9. What are your thoughts, or what are your take on this recent footage and the fact that it's not so much a spoiler, I don't think. I think it's fine. But that they're continuing this character. So it seems like they're going down the path of clipping together, leftover footage from The Force Awakens, leftover footage from Episode 8, or maybe taking and pushing some of that footage later on into Episode 9. What's your kind of take on what they're going to do here?
Yeah, I think that's great. It's going to be impressive to see what they do with it. Obviously, it's going to be very limited. Because they can only work with so many shots and scenes of what they have of her already. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they're definitely not going the CGI route, because I'm one of the few people out there, I know very few out there, that didn't really like the CG effect in Rogue One. So for them to do this, I'm all on board. Can't wait to see how they handle it.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a little tweaking here and there with CGI, like back or, just to fix up some of the scenes, touch up some
body
of the
images of some sort.
Yeah, right? Or transition images, like her walking from the back and then sliding in another actress and then kind of digitally kind of tweaking that a bit. I think that they can do that. I just hope that, because they have some limitations with the footage that they have, like you said, that they don't use this to try to extend the character out too much, that they just give her an appropriate end. They do well by Carrie, and you know what? All in all, it's a positive, because it's kind of an acknowledgement too that the Fisher family is willing to let Disney take this character and do and give her the appropriate end. Yeah. So they kind of almost acknowledge here that this is the blessing from that family, that they're able to do and work with Carrie's likeness to a degree and some of the old and recent footage to produce something that gives her the fitting end that she deserves.
Yeah, I'm curious still to know what they're going to do with the character, where she ends up.
So tough.
We'll have to see.
So tough. But news is going to continue to trickle in here. And like I said, tomorrow, hopefully we get that Last Jedi trailer, which is going to be our first look at a post Carrie Fisher's passing Princess Leia, like the first time we're seeing this footage. So it's gonna be quite emotional seeing that, and I'm sure there's gonna be tributes. I know Mark Hamill is doing actually a tribute to Carrie Fisher at Star Wars Celebration, so that's gonna be cool. Hopefully they stream that one or at least put it up later, so we can see him honoring someone that he's been with for the last 40 years.
That's right.
Wow. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
pretty wild. But Star Wars Celebration, the reveals continue to roll in. And one thing that I wasn't really expecting is much to be revealed this week. I thought they're going to save all of their powder for revealing at the panels, at Hasbro, at the Rey Books, at the 40th anniversary panel. But things started to slowly trickle out over the last week. And one of the more exciting ones coming out of Rey Books. So this is the main publisher for Star Wars literature in the new canonical universe. There is this Operation Blue Milk hashtag running around Twitter recently, and it was coming from a whole bunch of different writers, some that had contributed to Star Wars in the past and some that are relatively new to Star Wars writing. And so people are speculating that it was some sort of book that was dropping, and they revealed, I guess it was a couple days ago, that on October 3rd of this year, there's going to be a massive book dropping called From a Certain Point of View. And it's going to be 40 stories, 40 short stories from 40 different authors, all compiled into a single book. And it's going to be from the perspective of background characters during A New Hope.
Wow.
This seems like it's just a perfect project to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. I'm loving what they're talking about here. I think it looks and sounds so cool.
That's incredible, especially, for all those toys out there that didn't really have much of a big role in the movies. They now get to have their voices heard. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'd love to see, what's going on behind the scenes with the Jawas,
Yeah.
What's their takes on the thing.
I'm sure we're going to get that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what happened to R5D4 after. And there's going to be so many cool takes you can do that you don't have to worry too much about filling in that canonical universe, because it's just background characters. It's going to be short stories. I think this is going to be something that's going to be fun to read one or two a night, get your fill of Star Wars. And it's so true what you say about the action figures, because we have all these action figures that sit in the background. It's gonna be cool to get some expansion of their story and seeing what's going on in the cantina from the perspective of someone else. And this guy walks in with a lightsaber and he chops off this dude's arm. How cool is that going to be?
That's incredible. That's a really cool idea there, especially that way it kind of limits all these other adaptations of books where we kind of don't need the filler. You can kind of do it all in this book here. So I really like that.
Yeah, and there's some Star Wars writing veterans coming back. Gary Whitta, who did the screenplay for Rogue One. Chuck Wendig, he's coming back. He did the Aftermath books, Paul's Kemp. And there's a huge list here of writers. Just look it up on the internet, or we'll throw it up on our Twitter page. It's really cool idea. And October 3rd, this is when this drops, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting into this. Hopefully it comes out in Audible too, because that's kind of the way I like it, different voices and how cool. There's so much they can do there with Audible, with the background noises, the music, the voice. Oh, it's so cool.
Can't wait for that, man. Shoot. Yeah.
While we're talking about the literature world, they also announced a brand new box set that's coming. This is a box set that contains 30 years of Star Wars stories. And this is going to drop on April 18th. So that's just in a couple days. And it's this massive hardcover slipcase that contains, I think, upwards of a dozen premium hardcover books that do cover the last 30 years, 40 years of Marvel Comics. It's adaptations of each movie in comic book form, as well as the first volume of the most recent Star Wars. So that's the new Marvel 2013, 14, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think 14.
14, and then first volume of Darth Vader, plus a few other different adaptations. There's going to be some comic book covers. We saw the covers with the very first Star Wars volume coming out. And so it looks like a pretty cool set. It's expensive. $350 US.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely clear exactly what the adaptations are. If they're brand new adaptations from Marvel, or if they're taking the Dark Horse adaptations of Phantom Menace through Revenge of the Sith into New Hope and that. And they're just using that catalog and reprinting them into a hardcover form. Are you going to be grabbing this?
I am.
You are? Okay.
I think for display wise too, this is gonna look really nice on a shelf. This is gonna be awesome. And just to get I follow a lot of the Star Wars comic books, obviously, from Vader to Star Wars to Maul, pretty much most of them, but there's a whole bunch of other things back there that I haven't collected, such as the movie adaptations of the comic books. And if it's Marvel, especially doing episodes 1, 2, and 3, then I'm totally on board. So I'm gonna look it up more and see what I can find in there. Get all the details down. But as of right now, I'm keen. But I still got to see what they offer in Celebration coming out of those books.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, it's gorgeous looking.
Yeah.
The hardcovers are beautiful. It's really well done. The colors look great.
Yeah.
For me, this is gonna be a pass for now. It's quite expensive. I agree with you. It's gonna look awesome on a shelf.
Right.
But to be honest with you, I have a good majority of these. This even has the Shattered Empire, the Journey to the Force Awakens books are in there. I've got all Star Wars Vader, and to be honest with you, I actually, you know what? Thinking back upon it here, now looking at this list, I'm wondering if these are A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi from the original Marvel Comics run. It probably is.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Because you have some of those.
I have all of them.
You have all of them. Jeez.
In single, except for, sorry, I don't have all of them. The New Hope, I think, is the first 6 issues of that 1977-78 run.
Right.
I think I have 2 or 3 of those. So I'm missing that.
Right. To get these on trade, that's going to be pretty nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to dive into it. Hopefully the price goes down a little bit. I mean, you don't have to get it immediately.
No.
But that's appealing.
Yeah, because that's going to run close to 500 Canadian.
Yeah, that's steep. That's a PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get
it's
out.
a hot toy.
Yeah, it's a hot toy.
So exciting things come from Marvel Comics. I think their panel is going to be quite revealing. It is on Saturday, I believe. So keep your ears to the ground for a new series. We kind of speculated last week a bit about what we'd like to see as far as more of these 5-issue arcs, 5-issue miniseries, maybe one more ongoing, but I'm cool with no more. I'm cool with what we got. But I'm really excited to see what they have in store for us next. I'm really thinking, you mentioned this last week, a Sabine 5-issue comic, kind of going a bit more into her background. We got hints of that in Rebels, and if they can expand on that story to tell it to its fullest in the TV show, it'd be great to get the comic book adaptation, just telling a little bit more of that. Maybe even the Mandalorian, Jedi War, these type of stories.
And you go darker too, right?
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
You're not constrained by Disney XD in that sense.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see.
Yes. So, collecting wise, it's been another great week for me. I've got lined up here the vintage cardback 6-inch black series. I was able to get my hands on Han and R2-D2 today. The R2-D2 is, I guess, in the first wave, as far as I've seen and far as I've heard, the hardest to get your hands on. And I walked into the comic book shop today, and I haven't gone on Wednesday in months. I usually end up on a Friday or something like that on the weekend, just kind of collecting books as I go. But I walked in there today because I had a bit of free time at lunch. I said, you know what? I'm just going to take a break here, walk down to the shop. I walk in a bit early and I see all 5 are on the peg. And I'm like, oh my God, the R2 is there. And I couldn't find the Han either, actually. So I've got the whole first wave here with the exception of the Legacy pack.
Right.
And I'm thoroughly impressed with this. I absolutely love this line. It's still a bit on the expensive side, especially for, I have all of these characters in the original Black Series boxes.
Yeah.
Actually, this is, I think, my 3rd Han, because Han came in the Cantina set with Greedo as well.
Right.
And then I got the original Black Series.
And there's a Stormtrooper Han as well.
Yeah, I don't have the Stormtrooper Han, actually.
Yeah.
I'm missing that one, but that's just his head. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's 4 different iterations of this head.
Wow. 2 questions with these ones. How much do these retail at with these 40th anniversary editions?
$30.
$30?
It's the exact same as a Black
Series. And have you figured out a way to display them that you got going? It looks awesome right now. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go because they do stand nicely with the bubble and the card back. So I'm thinking about just putting them on a shelf for now.
Right.
The other option is to hang them, but unfortunately you'll lose a lot of the visibility, especially of the card art, because that's one of the big things you're after here, right? When it's displaying is the vintage card art.
Yeah.
Because that's the importance of this. Otherwise, why would I get this? If you're a loose collector, you're not going to pick these up, with the exception of maybe the Leia because of the new head sculpt.
I know. I was tempted the other day to grab it just because the head sculpt was a lot better than
Just swap head and replace and send back to Walmart. No, but these are beautiful. I'm really excited for this. And with Hasbro, they continue to pump out what seems to be an endless stream of announcements when it comes to the Black Series. And they did 2 early reveals here, which I was really surprised at. I thought they're going to be kind of leaving everyone hanging up until their Saturday panel, which is one of my most anticipated panels. But what they released today and yesterday, late yesterday and early today being Wednesday, they're on another level again. So the first reveal that was on Tuesday was they announced a Rey, another adaptation, a resculpt of her, highly articulated. But coming with Rey is a 6-inch scale speeder bike, or her Jakku speeder bike.
Right.
and they released some images of this. This looks awesome. Like, this is in the similar scale to what we got with the TIE Fighter pilot, I guess, a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And this thing's going to probably be about 1.5 feet long. Because you think about the scale of the 6-inch figure, this speeder bike is going to be in scale with that.
Yeah.
And it's actually retailing for 60 American, which is going to probably be about 80 Canadian, which is much better than the 150 for the TIE Fighter.
That's right.
And just looking at the sculpt here, the articulation on Rey, and the detail that they do have on this speeder bike, man, like, I can't believe that they're going down this path. We knew that they're going to do vehicles in this size, and we've already seen one. But the TIE Fighter was a bit big. This seems to be more niche for the 6-inch, something that is more appropriate. You look at what they did with the speeder bike for the Scout Trooper.
Yes.
Again, we're stepping into something a little bit more similar to that size, that scale. This is much more appropriate for displaying.
Yeah.
Are you going to be getting into this?
Well, see, that's the thing. You just said it, displaying. That's the key thing. With the TIE Fighter, it's so big, it's hard to display.
I almost want to make a table out of it.
You no kidding, right? You could be court on this thing.
Yeah.
So, but the vehicle here just looks so good that I'm like, wow, I could actually, display this thing. But the biggest thing is the paint jobs. The paint apps on here are incredible. It looks like a statue. At first glance, I thought this was just a statue here. Rey looks cool, so I might have to pick it up. I've never really reached into the vehicle game yet for the Black Series, but looking at this one, I might have to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of in a reasonable price range for what you're getting. So this is probably going to be comparable to the Vader Legacy Pack, which you're just getting basically the Vader card art with the diorama set. And I was listening to Tumbling Saber, and I know Kyle has big issues with the price of that. And you know what? He's not far off point there. Like, that is almost too expensive, the $80 mark. And I'm wondering in this price range for something like the Vader Legacy Pack, if that's going to sit on the shelves. Because once you get up to this high-end collecting, you lose a lot of people because it's just too expensive, right? You're looking at $30 per Black Series,
right?
And that's enough already. And people are going after those. Those are reasonable if you pick them up once, twice, a month or something, right? That's manageable. But when you're talking about $80 for, as Kyle put, a piece of cardboard and the Vader is clutch. Like, you need that.
Yes.
And it's a New Hope Vader. So it's our first shot at a New Hope Vader with the red kind of lenses.
One New Hope.
Yeah, exactly. So this, though, being probably the same price, you get a lot more for your buck here.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going after this.
Yeah.
But it's the next reveal that they had today that is even more intriguing. Sticking with the Black Series 6-inch vehicle scale, they announced a Luke Skywalker with his speeder. Yeah. This thing is awesome. This is one of my favorite vintage pieces.
Nice.
I just saw a Lego set of this drop, and I was regretting, I haven't seen it again.
Yeah.
I'm regretting not picking it up. But this comes with a brand new sculpted Luke, it looks like. At least it's the Farm Boy Luke, not too dissimilar from what we have in the vintage cardback line, but it looks like his tunic is different. It looks maybe a bit more plastic.
It looks more plastic, but almost more fitted at least, because up in the chest area.
Yeah, it might be the way that they've set this picture up.
Him, yeah.
But it looks almost the same as this Farm Boy Luke that we're looking at right here. But the head sculpt also looks different from what I see. It looks a lot better than the one we've seen. Again, this could be just what they've set up here. And of course, they're going to show us their best piece.
Yes.
But the speeder in itself, again, coming down to the paint apps, it looks incredible. It too is going to be quite large. You think 2 6-inch series or Black Series figures should be able to sit side by side here.
They should. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so this thing's going to be large. Again, another nice display piece.
Yeah, this one is crazy. I mean, that's a classic vehicle, the speeder, the land speeder right there. I have to get my hands on that. The only thing is I'm not falling for this image yet, because I remember a couple years back, they displayed the Farm Boy Luke here, and he looked golden, like just mint. And then when he came to retail, looked nothing like the promotional art there. Is a little kind of a letdown. But on the good side, I do have a nice custom Luke sitting at home, ready to go on this bad boy. So I'm getting my hands on it.
Nice,
sure.
Nice. What do you think of his goofy hat?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that hat. I think we saw it in an Obi-Wan issue once when he was a kid wearing that hat.
Yeah, so this is actually from a cutscene from A New Hope.
Okay.
When he is going to Tashi Station, and you see Biggs comes into the scene here. So it's cut from A New Hope, but he's got this goofy thing, and he's got his binocs there. So Yeah, it's a really cool piece. Like,
It is.
I'm definitely getting both of these.
The speeder alone, it's worth it.
The speeder for sure.
Yeah.
That's going to be my first purchase
Yes.
if they drop on the same time. And I guess they're expecting these to drop in and around fall time.
Nice.
So right in time for Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
More or less.
Yeah.
And the Rey I might wait on a little.
Okay, yeah.
I am not like, I really like the piece in that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm just gonna wait. I think I need the Luke to begin with.
Yeah.
And I'll just see how it looks paint up wise. And I agree with
Yeah.
you that we have to make sure that these are coming through good quality, because you're gonna
Yes.
drop this type of coin on action figures, on these kind of display pieces.
Yeah.
You want them to be top quality.
For sure. I just think those two side by side will look great.
Oh, yeah.
You know, start of two new trilogies right there, right? With the beginning of a trilogy. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, their own individualized vehicles too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So cool. And
Awesome.
if you got C-3PO, you could put R2 in the back
Right,
there,
you
maybe
got the R2.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Oh man. Collecting is off the hinges. And the Hasbro panel, it's hitting this Saturday. I'm expecting a couple big announcements. Nothing really as far as episode 8 goes, but maybe a reveal for San Diego Comic-Con. I know we spoke a bit about this last week. I still think they're going to expand this vintage card back into the 20 back. I don't know.
I hope so. I hope so, definitely. And I think, was it you mentioned hopefully an Old Man Luke?
Yes.
For episode 8 Black Series? Like,
That's
have to.
Yeah, for the reveal, because they always do the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which is the early reveal for that line before we get into Force Friday. So that's in July, and that gives kind of people a couple months, a little bit of anticipation going for Force Friday in September.
Right.
So fingers crossed, we do get an episode 8, at least a look at the box art maybe.
I'm hoping so. And I'm pulling something here. I think we're gonna get a Force Ghost. We've never had it done before. I think we're gonna get some kind of cool Force Ghost figure in there. So
Did you see the Funko Pops, the exclusives? There was it's called a holo projection or a holographic Qui-Gon. And I was looking at it, I was like, man, does that ever look like a Force Ghost?
No, I never saw that one. Yeah, okay. No, I never saw that one.
Yeah, so there's 9 exclusive pops for Celebration. Actually, over at Making Star Wars, they just posted an article that has the shared retailers for the exclusives. So the exclusives, just from early pictures I'm seeing from people at a Celebration, they've got the Celebration exclusive sticker on them, as well as a 40th anniversary sticker on them for the Funko Pops.
Okay.
And the shared retailers, there's like everyone from, I believe, Walmart through to maybe not Hot Topic, but Walgreens and Toys R Us. Toys R Us is getting the Thrawn.
Oh.
So I'm a little happy about that.
Nice.
I'm going to miss that sticker, but at the same time, I'm still going to get that Thrawn pop without having to pay a ridiculous amount of money.
Yes, that's key.
Yeah, so go over to makingstars.net. They have a whole list of the shared retailers. So if you're not at Celebration, or if you are at Celebration and you're worried, do I go wait in line for a panel, or do I go and get my Funko Pops? You can go wait in line for a panel, because you'll be able to get your hands on the Pops just without the sticker. But they're pretty cool ones. There's a Hoth Leia. There's a Rey actually on her Jakku speeder bike.
Oh, okay, cool.
Big deluxe one.
With the mask, like the helmet?
Yeah, with the mask on and everything.
Sweet.
Yeah, it looks really, really
Want
cool.
that, yeah.
There's a couple others too that are quite exciting. The Thrawn is the one that I'm really
That's
gonna go
money right
after.
there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So good. So good. So that about wraps it up for our Star Wars Celebration coverage for this episode. And of course, next week we're going to be coming back at you guys covering each and everything that we absolutely love about Star Wars. So collecting the books, comics, and of course what we're assuming to be the Last Jedi trailer, and hopefully announcement of the next anthology film, which you threw out there, maybe Kenobi.
Yep. I'm saying
And I'm hoping for Bounty Hunters, maybe. I don't know.
I think that's coming too. I honestly think that's going to be one of them up there. I think someone mentioned it's at first Josh Trank was meant to do the Boba Fett, but now I think they're spreading out amongst Bounty Hunters with Boba Fett. So I think you're not too far off that.
So wait and see. I'm so excited for all this. It's going to be an absolutely incredible ride over the next few days. And, follow us on Twitter. We're going to be tweeting out. There's a whole crew down from the Commonwealth at Star Wars Celebration. So shout out to Rogue Squadron, shout out to Talk Star Wars, Skyhoppers Podcast, Robcast. There's a ton of people within the Commonwealth that are down there right now. So make sure you follow those guys. They're going to be waiting in line for panels. They're going to be on the floor. They're going to be sending images. It's going to be incredible. If you want that experience, make sure to go over and follow those guys. I know Mark over at Talk Star Wars is going to be doing a lot of videos.
Nice.
And that's going to be going up on their YouTube page, the Talk Star Wars YouTube page. So make sure you tune in there, because
we're celebrating right here.
yeah, we are celebrating right here, but we're not going to be there. So we're going to be using them to live vicariously through for our Star Wars Celebration experience. And you guys should go check them out as well. And come back next week to hear our thoughts on things.
That's right. And I think they're trying to pick you up next wing Luke. Right?
Yeah, I've been really pushing the guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how far that's actually going to get, because I don't have really an understanding because I've never been to like a massive convention
Right.
like Celebration or like San Diego, and I've never chased an exclusive like that before. Like I always go online after and buy them.
Yeah.
But I've never had that experience of going elbow to elbow with people
Right.
and the fighting, the bickering. I've heard horror stories, so I never want to expose the guys down there. I know I've been really bugging Rob Cass, and I understand if you guys never get there. But if you do happen to pick me up in X-Wing Luke, I will be forever grateful. Because
Awesome.
that's the one for me. That's my most
That
coveted
helmet, man.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's still one of the rarest Black Series figures out there.
One of the most expensive too.
Yeah, because it came out in 2012. It's a reissue of that on the vintage card back. But
Right.
for loose collectors, this might be one of the other only opportunities you get to get an X-Wing pile Luke.
That's right.
All right, man. Well, last week we discussed very briefly the release of Rogue One. We got our steelbooks, all of us, and we said last week that we're going to discuss a bit about almost revisiting Rogue One and the special features. They're very limited on this Blu-ray, at least the one that we got. If you got, I believe, the one from Target in the States, you got a few extra clips and little promo things. But did you have a chance to check out the special features for Rogue One?
Yes, I did. When I took a break finally from watching Vader mow down a whole bunch of rebel scum, I finally watched some of those clips, and it was great. I still feel the prequels held the bar high for bonus content, but this wasn't bad. This was pretty cool. Actually, a lot of the stuff they did here made me appreciate more the performances they got out of their characters, like Felicity Jones.
Yeah.
I really liked her more so just watching that stuff, right?
Yeah, they do a lot of cool little vignettes. They focus on each individual character, and if you click that watch all, it really fits together quite nicely
Yes.
instead of watching them in individual pieces.
Right.
And what this did for me more than anything was made me really appreciate the people behind Star Wars. That the fact that they're all fans and that they care about this movie universe, about this saga as much as we do
Right.
as fans. You know, we're so deep into this, so are they. They, like, you look at Gareth Edwards. This guy is the ultimate Star Wars fanboy. He went to Tunisia on his 30th birthday, as they kind of chronicled in this, to see the Luke or the Moisture Farm, the Luke's
Uncle
farm,
Owen's farm,
Uncle
yeah.
Owen's farm. Thank you, jeez. On his 30th birthday to visit the sets that are down there, and the fact that you have people like that are directing these films, that are spearheading these, and the whole story about the John Knoll, the one who came up with the idea and pitched it to Kathleen Kennedy because someone said, you know what, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that to see that, you know, if you have a good idea, go pitch it to someone.
Yeah.
Like, that beyond Star Wars is like, take what you know and take what you love and turn that into something great. And look what he did.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible because he held on to that opening crawl and he loved it so much that he came up with he spun a 30-second version of the movie to Kathleen Kennedy there, and she loved it.
Oh man, like it's so great to see that. And like, I'm gonna say, like, honest to God, I was somewhat emotional watching this whole thing, watching it all come together. Because even you talk about the actors, that diversity that they brought into this film, and how important that was to them to have Asian characters, to have Mexican, Latin American characters. Like, it's so cool to see all of that coming together, and the size of the sets that they put together. Like, watching them build Yavin 4, the Rebel base, like, it's a full-size set.
That's the and you called it. I think from the minute we watched the movie, the scale. Gareth Edwards handles the scale of things like crazy. I never noticed until watching it again, the ring around the first planet we see.
Lamu?
Yes, and you can see like the shadow underneath there. And I never even paid attention to that. I'm just like, wow, like there's a lot of detail put into this movie, and it really made me appreciate the set design and everything they really put into this movie.
Yeah, well, Kathleen Kennedy did say in one of the featurettes here, when they're talking a bit more about hiring on Gareth Edwards, was that it was his indie movie Monsters, and I've raved about that. I think it's a great movie. I watched that before Gareth Edwards was anyone.
Right, before Godzilla and all that. Yeah,
before everything. And they said that's the movie that got him this film. So again, it's nice to see them looking into indie films, looking into people that are passionate about what they do. And again, I think this spans beyond Star Wars, about, you know, chasing your passions and doing what you do well.
Yeah.
And just loving what you do, because this is exactly what Gareth Edwards and who he is.
Yeah.
Is that he loved making films. He made an indie film. It got him a Star Wars, and now he's this enormous director that directed probably one of the best Star Wars films ever put to screen.
It's incredible, right? Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It really is, and and it's cool too to see actors with such a caliber like Forrest Whitaker going back and doing his research, watching the Clone Wars and seeing, Saw Gerrera's relationship with Anakin and Obi-Wan. I just, I love that. I wasn't the biggest fan of his portrayal of Saw Gerrera's, his theatrical acting, but I really do appreciate the time he put into knowing that character. So hats off to everybody on that movie. Yeah.
Definitely. Go check out, I think it's the first, there's a whole bunch of them, but it's like the first, I think, 10 little kind of vignettes that they have that kind of strung together to do this. And then at the end, there's a really cool one called Rogue Connections. And it was basically doing what we do as fans, is trying to pick out and piece together the individual portions of the movie that tie to the larger universe.
Right,
so,
the Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to run through some of the more interesting ones here quickly. The most revealing one, I think, and the most important was the confirmation that General Syndulla is in fact Hera Syndulla. We always knew that, but there's always that lingering speculation that
sham.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it is confirmation that it is Hera Syndulla. That's pretty cool that they toss that in there.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? There's K2SO was originally supposed to be a Black Protocol droid.
Right.
And
C-3PO very much like.
Yeah.
Or Dark C-3PO.
Kind of like BT, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that they went a different way, because the design of K2 is awesome.
Love that design.
But that would have kind of taken a bit away from BT as well.
Yes.
So, definitely. And then there's a couple others here about... one thing that I didn't ever really realize that they said specifically in here was that this is the first time that Vader uses his red lightsaber against anyone else that isn't a Jedi or a Sith.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. On film.
Film, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he must in Rebels, right? I don't remember.
I don't remember in Rebels. I mean, obviously in the comics,
we've
seen him.
Yeah, definitely.
Time. Vader down. Yeah. Enough said right there.
Boom.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. I never really thought about that much. Yep. And that was kind of a cool little Easter egg that threw in there. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that is the only time he's ever used his lightsaber.
And he really used that lightsaber.
Yeah. Did you go back and rewatch the movie?
I was watching the movie, and then when I got to that part, like, I'm not joking here, guys. I did it like 10 times. Yeah. Like, I actually did it 10 times watching that scene. It has just blown. It's my favorite scene in Star Wars history. After watching that now, like, it's for sure my favorite scene ever in Star Wars. Yeah. Love it.
Having revisited a bit here, like, I had another great experience kind of going back. It had been a couple months since I'd seen it. Mm-hmm. Where do you rank this now? Like, does this rank a bit higher, or is it kind of fell down a few pegs and you've had time to simmer and rewatch this?
The movie itself. Yeah, when I first saw the movie, I still, coming out of the theater, still liked Force Awakens more so. After watching this again and again, it has fallen a little bit. Not much, but it has fallen a little bit. I really feel the third act of this movie is phenomenal. The third act is just great. Apart from that, I do feel it's a little weaker. I need some time to kind of put down, my order. But it's fallen a little bit. How about you? Is it better?
For me, it's right on par with where it was when I left theater. It's like, I don't know exactly what it is, and I think it's because it's a good mixture of clean CG mixed with the nostalgia of the original trilogy, and you take that with an awesome narrative and you smash that together. This is almost the perfect movie for me. Like, there's a few missteps, and we covered that way back when. But like, rewatching this, I freaking love this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't find much wrong with that. And I don't know if everyone or fandom's kind of agreeing with that still, but I don't know. They're two different movies.
They really are. This is very war-bound, gritty, where the other one's kind of mystical and adventure-like. Yeah. And you know what also helped me more with this movie again is the book, because you get a good sense of Cassian and Bodhi, and going back to the vignettes there, Bodhi. His audition tapes. Oh man, he wanted it. Yeah, right? He
pestered Gareth Edwards constantly. They told me he had the job, and he kept sending video. Well, what if I did this? And what if I did this? Different voices, different takes. Yeah, a little crazier in this one, a little less crazy in this one.
Yeah,
passion.
Great. Yeah,
and that shows through on the screen, right?
It really does.
Like, he's one of the breakout characters here.
I really like that character. Going back and watch this movie, it makes me like him even more so. Yeah. Him and Chirrut, those are my two in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Watching the Chirrut and Baze little featurette that they had there, that made me appreciate those actors even more. Yes. As well as what they're able to do together. Like, it's... I have nothing but good things to say about this film. Yeah. And if you haven't checked out the bonus features, go and do that. They really hit me.
They do.
Like, it was really well done, really well put together. They're very limited. That would be my only nitpick about the Blu-ray, is there's not much there. But what they do give you is really good.
It is. I wish they even did a little segment on just the Vader suit and the combat going on, But
to come with the 3D special edition release and all this. Well, Troy, that wraps up our Star Wars portion for the podcast. And there's going to be a lot more coming, like we said earlier, when it comes to Star Wars news over the next couple of days. So make sure to follow, like I said, the Commonwealth. Follow myself and Troy on Twitter, where we try to keep you guys as up to date as possible with what's coming out of Celebration. And we're going to be back next week. I'm away, but we're going to be doing kind of a Skype combination. We're going to be getting the content out to you guys, the podcast out to you as soon as we can. And hopefully The Last Jedi trailer. I think I've probably said that about 10 times. I don't know if I keep saying it, if it'll just come true. So maybe that's what I'm banking on a bit.
That's your most anticipated, for sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's a must.
Throw out, before we get off this Celebration and into the Thor 3 trailer, throw out maybe, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but maybe throw one wild ass prediction for Star Wars Celebration this year.
For Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Ooh. The Obi-Wan movie doesn't count because I've already announced that one. So I'm going to go with a bounty hunter movie, or we get a director attached to a standalone film. I want the director attached to a standalone film.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you? Let's hear yours.
I don't know if this is wild ass, because a lot of people have speculated this, but I still think it's not crazy, but Hayden Christensen is announced to be a part of a Star Wars film.
Love it.
Maybe not announcing exactly what it is and what capacity, but I think that, I don't know. I understand why he's there, because it's the 40th anniversary and all this, but to have him back in a Star Wars film, I think now is the time. Now
is the time, especially if they do the Obi-Wan movie. You could essentially have Vader in the movie, not the villain, just side by side. You get different aspects of what they're doing, and you can get flashbacks of Hayden in the Clone Wars, back in the day in the Clone Wars. So
and
I'm
recreating stuff from the Clone Wars cartoon,
right?
Man.
Leading to the Ahsoka book, man, lose my mind.
Okay,
so I'm
you just blew my brain apart. Like, what if they did a flashback with Ahsoka? First live action appearance of Ahsoka.
Oh man, see, and I was just gonna say maybe we get Ahsoka in the trailer for Rebels, but going with that theory there, man. Damn. Give me Ahsoka, give me a director, give me Hayden Christensen in a movie.
Filoni's on that stage too.
That's
that
right.
40th anniversary stage.
Yes, and he's a big contender for Ahsoka, so we'll have to see. I can't wait. Star Wars Commonwealth, man, I'm losing my mind over here.
Good luck to you guys that are sleeping on the floor. Hopefully, maybe this is giving you a little bit of something to listen to for a little bit.
Right.
But now it's time for us to jump into our Thor Ragnarok trailer breakdown. We're not going to do it in too much detail.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk a little bit about what we're anticipating from this and this massive tonal shift going away from Thor the Dark World into Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, going from the mighty to the incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was a trailer that kind of dropped out of nowhere. Like, no one was anticipating this. No one knew this was coming. And all of a sudden, I think it was on Monday.
Yeah.
And it was just like, boom, the Thor Ragnarok trailer's here. And I was thinking to myself, wow, that was out of nowhere. And it's a relatively short trailer. It's less than 2 minutes, but there's no teaser for the trailer or anything like that. This just came out of nowhere. And did it hit hard? This is Disney's single most downloaded trailer of all time in the first 24 hours.
Jeez.
It's not the most downloaded trailer of all time, but Disney's. So that it topped out Civil War, Beauty and the Beast. It was massive.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it. When I saw this thing, I was like, wait a second, is this just like one of those like fan-made trailers? I'm like, this came out of nowhere. I clicked on this thing and immediately I was invested. Immediately I was like, I'm back on the Thor train. Cate Blanchett in this movie looks just killer.
Unreal.
Unreal, especially, I don't know if you've finished issue 5.
I haven't.
Worthy Thor, okay.
I bought it today.
But we know, obviously, Hela's in there.
Yeah.
So that just adds some more weight to this trailer. Thor looks great. Hulk and Thor at last. And we get the whole gladiator feel and the Planet Hulk feel going on. The helmets. Marvel is onto something with these costumes right now. We saw it in Spider-Man with the suit fitting to him. And we see Thor now clicking his helmet down.
Finally getting the helmet back.
Finally back, right? And man, and the Braveheart look going on with him. I love this. Is it a teaser or a trailer?
I'd say it's a trailer.
Yeah, it's a trailer.
It's a first trailer. Yeah. Maybe you could call it a teaser trailer, because usually trailers are 2.5 minutes plus or whatever.
Right.
I guess with other trailers too, and one of the complaints we had last week about
Spider-Man.
The Homecoming was that it gave too much away.
Yes.
This trailer, other than show you that there's a massive tonal shift into something that is more Guardians-like, taking the world that James Gunn built and transporting that into Thor and changing everything. Because people are always assuming that Thor need to be Game of Thrones. They brought in Alan Taylor to direct. and people wanted this to be kind of like a medieval type film universe. And I think what they've done here, what Taika, the director, has done, is said, no, this is about Thor. This is about something different, and they're really embracing that. And they've, like I said, they've taken what James Gunn's done with the colors. You look at Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster, the whole stadium. I think the planet is Scar. Or Skar.
Oh, because Hulk's son was called Scar.
And this is from the planet Hulk.
Right.
And those are even the villains from, or the cannon fodder army from Guardians of the Galaxy are the Skarians. So these are like the natives to that planet. And just the palette that they've used here, it looks incredible. It looks almost like two movies, right? You're getting Ragnarok and you're getting Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
But they seem to fit together so well, and it makes sense what they're doing here. It seems like it's going to be quite organic, bringing the Hulk into this.
Yes, because they built that foundation from Avengers. And it just feels right.
Yes. And what did you think of the music? Because that's one thing that a lot of trailers and a lot of studios have been playing with when you look back at Old Man Logan. It's kind of, a lot of it spurred off of what James Gunn started to do.
Yes.
And we see them using different adaptations of rock, different music. Did this work for you in the same way that it did for Guardians of the Galaxy?
Even more so.
Really?
This worked for me so well. I almost made it through the episode without making any jabs towards DC. But DC, this is how you put in rock and roll music to your trailers, and I think they nailed it. Like this was so cool. It really fit for me. And again, the way it just lines up with Cate Blanchett, holding on to the hammer and just making it explode, destroying it. It worked for me. I love this trailer. It might be, I think last week or when we talked about Homecoming is like my number one trailer.
Yeah.
This one I was going to say it's my number one, but I was going to say it's a teaser, so it doesn't count, but it's not really a teaser. So it's on par. It might knock out Homecoming for me. And Spider-Man's my jam, but this trailer is incredible for me. Love it.
I agree. Visually, this looks unreal.
Yes.
It didn't give away too much.
Exactly.
The music, I did have a slight issue with the first viewing. I felt a bit out of place. But again, when you look at this trailer, the whole thing feels out of place. Yes. And it's supposed to. It's supposed to transport you away from what they've done in the past. Probably Marvel's least successful standalone franchise.
Right.
And they're telling you this is something completely different. You would have never heard this music for Thor: The Dark World or for Thor.
Never.
And it fits. It works for
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're taking this to a whole different level, whole different direction. They're spending like 90% of the time in space.
Yeah, no Earth.
No, there's going to be, I guess, those few brief scenes with Doctor Strange.
Oh,
when they're
yeah.
when they're looking for Odin from the tease at the end of Doctor Strange.
Yes.
But I think that's going to be fairly brief. And even this trailer, it looks like a lot of this is probably within the first, I'm going to say 45 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And just expertly executed. Like, this is how you cut a trailer. You know nothing really about the story.
Yeah.
You get an introduction to Loki, Thor, Hela. You needed that, right? You need to understand the new characters coming into this, and also who's coming back as far as old characters.
Right.
And they do that perfectly, but you really don't know much about this other than the fact that Thor essentially becomes unworthy.
Right.
Hela breaks his hammer, like you said, which is cool imagery.
Yes.
And you know what? At first I was like, they shouldn't have showed that. But it's cool. They need to show a little bit of progression as to why Thor has short hair and why he's been banished. And even with this unworthy Thor comic book that's come out, it fits really well to getting the audience introduced to a different type of Thor.
Yes. And they kind of do a good job of like rebooting the franchise almost, it looks like, with this trailer dropping. And you must be excited because I really feel like pitching Hela and Thanos coming up here. So, man.
There's going to be so many interconnecting and weaving threads from this movie into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Or from Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe I more should say, because this comes out after. And into Avengers Infinity War.
Because it's November, right?
Yeah, it comes out in November.
Yeah, but a while still. Jeez.
So it's a little bit, but I think this is exactly what they needed for this franchise. Yeah. And the inclusion of Hulk, he looks awesome in his gladiatorial armor. Man, did they nail that.
He looks even bigger than ever.
Yes.
Jeez.
What did you think? This is my favorite line of the movie when they introduce the Hulk, the Grandmaster does, and he says, and then Thor gets all excited.
Yeah.
And he says, I know him from work. I think that speaks to this whole trailer, to what this franchise, this Thor franchise is turning into, is something that, again, it's more akin to what we've seen in the other Marvel movies, but it's organic. It doesn't feel out of place that Thor would say that, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. I agree with you too. It just really, sets the tone for this movie and lets us know what we're in for when we step into theaters in November and watch this film. So yeah, again, I really like this trailer. Hulk looks great. We're gonna see those two obviously go at it and then team up.
Yep.
Idris Elba is in there again, so that looks
Yes.
cool. And Loki's costume design now looks way better.
Yeah, he looks awesome. And
Yeah.
his deal, I don't know what's going on there. He seems to be jumping back and forth. He's on the couch with Grandmaster.
Right.
He's probably, at least at the start, in league with Hela.
Yes.
She was trapped on Asgard and then's released. And Asgard looks like it's going to be completely destroyed.
Right.
So the destruction of Asgard begins, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we're probably going to get a reveal of some sort of searcher at some point.
Yes.
And hopefully that doesn't turn into a CGI mess towards the
Yes.
end of the film.
Hopefully not.
Like
Kyle
we've-
Urban in there
Yes,
too, right?
as what's his name? Scourge.
Scourge.
Yes.
Yes.
So he looked pretty cool. That was a blink and you're gonna miss it type
he
cameo.
looks pretty big too.
Yeah, he looks kind of he must be wearing a bodysuit.
Yeah.
He looks kind of almost fat too.
Looks huge. And Loki's rocking like the Agents of Asgard? Agents
Yeah.
of Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean now.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he looks great, and there's nothing more we can say about this other than the fact that this is what Thor needed,
Yes.
and it fits. It works. I'm so excited for this. I think I had this number 3 most anticipated
Right.
for the year, and that it's staying there.
Yeah, I think it probably jumped for me. I think I maybe had it 4 or 5. I can't really remember, but it's jumped up there.
Yeah. One thing that's going around the internet really quickly before we sign off here is that Heimdall is the last Infinity Stone, the Soul Stone.
Yes.
Because people said, he's in Thor, I think Dark World said that he can see souls and all this, and his eyes are yellow. So
And
people
his letter matches up too.
Yeah,
with-
the H, right, with the Thanos theory that we've talked about in the past. Thoughts on that?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool because I've said from the beginning, Idris Elba is a talent you don't want to waste. And it always felt like, man, you threw him in Thor 1, you threw him in Thor 2, but I'm like, this guy's huge. To make him an Infinity Gem or Stone and to incorporate him into this world even more so, maybe he's going to be one of Thanos' henchmen too, going toe-to-toe with some of the Avengers, which would make sense because he could definitely hold his own against some of those characters. I totally love that. So I'm on board with that theory. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
think that if he is Infinity Stone, he's going to die either in this film or at the start of Infinity War.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's either inside of him, maybe it's his heart or whatever. I just have this image of Thanos, like we've seen in the comics, jamming his fist right into Thanos or into Heimdall's heart and yanking out the Infinity Stone.
Ooh.
Like that would be an
The
intense
imagery would
scene.
be incredible on that
Yes,
one.
and we've seen Thanos do that recently in the comic books.
Right.
Too. Just not with an Infinity Stone, but punch right through someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, top marks to Marvel here for this trailer. It's like putting Thor, like we've said numerous times here, on another level, and it remains there for me. This is, I think, could be the breakout comic book movie of the year.
It could be. This or Wonder Woman. I think one of those two could just pop up and just take the crowd by storm. Who knows? But love this trailer. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Marvel,
they're killing it.
doing great things.
Yeah, they really are.
2 trailers in 2 weeks
Right.
for 2 different movies.
The range.
Yes, so good.
Yeah.
We're seeing like the John Hughes Spider-Man.
Street level.
Yeah, and a Guardians of the Galaxy-esque Thor.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
This is crazy.
The spectrum here is unbelievable.
Right, and it's just like the comics. That's how it was reading these comics. Yeah, incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. This has been a quick hit episode. We're trying to bang this out quick. We're recording a little late, and we want to make sure we got the content to you guys. Like we said before, follow the Commonwealth, Talk Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, Skyhoppers, and Robcast on Twitter. They're going to be on the ground floor at Celebration. We're going to be retweeting. We're going to be tweeting things. I'm going to try to focus a bit on the collecting and the books end of it. Of course, the whole internet's going to be exploding with trailer or any sort of announcements coming to there. So we're going to be covering all that next week with our podcast here dropping on Thursday, reviewing whatever comes out, and specifically with the collecting and movies and comics and all that kind of stuff, as we always talk about on the podcast. It's going to be a Star Wars centric podcast for the next couple weeks at least, until Marvel releases another awesome trailer. Well, that about wraps it up for us here. So if you'd like to get a hold of us or take part in the show, comments, questions, whatever, you can always get a hold of us at thenerdrm@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter. Our handles are at the end of the episode, or you can comment on our Facebook or YouTube pages. This month, coincidentally, we're doing our Thor MCU retrospective, so it fits kind of nicely with this new trailer dropping. That's going to be dropping on the last Thursday of the month, as they always do. And like I said, come back here for all of your Star Wars Celebration wrap-up news. And good luck to those that are on the ground right now waiting for that 40th anniversary panel. I commend you. I would be there beside you if I could. Maybe 2019.
Yes. Oh, no, it's happening. 2019.
It's there. The Nerd Room is there in
there
2019.
for sure.
So, again, to everyone at Celebration, happy hunting if you're looking for your items, and good luck getting into those panels. We wish you all the best. Take care, and may the Force be with you all.
Yes. Good luck, guys.
Good luck, indeed. All right, man. For the Nerd Room, I'm Tim.
I'm Troy.
And thank you for entering the Nerd Room.
This has been a Nerd Room podcast production. You can find our hosts, Tim and Troy, on Twitter at TheNerdRM and Troy TheBoy87. Don't forget to subscribe to the Nerd Room on iTunes, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search the Nerd Room Podcast. Be sure to head over to StarWarsCommonwealth.com to find other podcasts on the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network, including Talk Star Wars, Generation X-Wing, Tumbling Saber, Rogue Squadron Podcast, and the Skyhopper Podcast. Follow the Star Wars Commonwealth on Twitter at SW Commonwealth and take your first steps into a larger world.